Hey, welcome back everybody. Welcome back to my channel, Amused Jester. My name is Junior, and today what we're going to do is we're going to review two figures from the Age of Primes Transformers. This is Skydive and this is Fireflight. This basically finishes off the Superior model. I'm just gonna review these two, and then I'll do a separate review of all the combiners all done because I also have the Constructicons done as well. And these two are basically as I turn it around. Really nice artwork. These are basically repaints of their counterparts because I believe this is the leg part and this is I'm sorry, this is the arm part that we're missing and the leg part that we're missing. So we've seen these before. And so I'm not going to do the transformation. We'll just review this really quickly in terms of the figure and the plane. Alright, so there they are, out of packaging. Yes, exactly as I find them out of packaging. So I just tossed them on the table and everything. So you're not surprised at what you're going to get. So, so we just got to fix this a little bit to make him look a little bit more presentable. Get his foot out here. He's like semi-transformed. Well, they both are. He comes with two blasters. And then his tail rudder is separate, which is kind of good because, like, why is there only one? It's like I thought I was missing something, you know? But I guess you can kind of use this as a weapon sword or something. I don't know, something ridiculous like that. And I already forgot. This is Skydive. This is Fireflight. And this is Skydive. Forgive me, guys. I mean, like, for one thing, I saw these characters how long ago now? Almost 35 years ago, 40 years ago, something ancient like that. So, and it's not like I'm watching Transformers every day. So it's definitely been forgotten, unfortunately. Is that his whole foot? I don't remember. So that's the cool thing, I guess, in terms of like having not seen this, because obviously my Fireflight and the other guys, Fireflight. Who's the other guy? Skydive? No, this is Skydive. My other Aerialbots have been formed as Superion, so I haven't looked at this particular mold ever since I reviewed this months ago now. So it's kind of interesting, I guess, to look at what my initial review is. For example, like, I must have said something about how big that freaking foot is. That's kind of funny. And I must have said something about the disappointment of how in the old toys his plane would compact to be a mini plane in their backs, and this one is not. And the fact that the wings are basically part of the feet, because in the old ways this one would actually fold into this one. So I thought that was pretty cool, and I think that's closer to what it was in the animation than this. Having said that, obviously, in terms of articulation, this has the old one beat. But I'm just saying, though, is like there were some cool stuff with the old one that this one is lacking. So bicep, 90-degree on the elbow. I think that should be more. Yes, it is. It's almost a full rotation in the elbow because that's a transformation gimmick anyway. Waist has a twist. Legs can go 90, outward 90. Thigh cut, thigh swivel, I should say. The knees go 90, and it doesn't really have an ankle articulation, more like a toe articulation that only goes down. So I'm gonna say there's nothing there because, like, when would I ever use that, you know? And then for Skydive, or is it Fireflight? Skydive. Basically the same thing. I mean, there is, again, it seems like with Hasbro, they've transferred over their idea when it comes to how they proceed with figures. Like, put your efforts into the face, everything else gets bland. And basically, that's the thing with these two that really stands out is the face. That's what's giving them character. And I'm okay with that. I mean, these are toys that were meant to go in the aisles. These are not like fan toys, or it's not like oh, what other third-party figures that I used to collect. I don't collect them anymore. So Magic Square, or this is not it. That's not. This is the level of quality in this one is not the same as those. But for what you're paying for, it's pretty good. And which reminds me, I forgot what I paid for this one, so we'll have to remember what it is. And so this one, I would prefer the wings are like that, so you complete the robot look and everything. So it's basically the same articulation as this one. But look at how much more nicer that foot is, where it's just like that. And also, look. And yes, this is just a repaint of the older ones, so of their counterparts. So I'm assuming it's exactly the same. This is much more acceptable to me than this, because even though the wings here is not part of the plane on the back. Oh, there's a tab here. I think that you can tab onto. It's so weird. It almost feels like you can, but it doesn't. There. And even though it doesn't really complete the jet, because the other one had the fin over here, it's close enough to it that it fulfills that look. So I am more pleased with this one in terms of aesthetic than this one. This is a complete departure. And I'm sure that they could have done the engineering had they thought about it to make it look something like this. This is more acceptable than this. This whole thing should not be there. So that's it. Let's look at them in terms of their plane mode. And again, I'm not going to be showing you transformation of this one. I apologize. You can look at MGO316 TM reviews or Deluxe Baldwin, or if you really are desperate, you can look at my old review of these guys, because I did show transformation of that. Let me go ahead and swipe really quick for the jet mode. Alright, so I have them now in their plane mode, and I remember this from the last review is, however good or bad their robot modes are in respect to the characters, they're switched over when it came to the plane mode, because as good as Skydive is in his plane robot mode, his plane mode suffers. It's not bad. It's still kind of acceptable, but when you compare it to the Skydive one, where it's more sleeker and more thinner in the body, and the body is actually cohesive with the cockpit, then you would say, well, yeah, this is kind of like if this part wasn't here, then it will be more acceptable. But like the thing of it is that, what do you prefer in terms of modes? More, do you prefer the robot mode, or do you prefer the plane mode? In my case, I actually do prefer the robot more solidly designed than the plane mode, because these two, if I ever decide to get a second set, it will only be displayed in two ways. One is the combiner mode, and one would be their individual robot modes. I would never display these in their plane mode. I know they're there, so it's nice to transform them, but realistically, it's combiner mode first, robot mode second, and then the plane mode last. But yeah, I feel like, honestly, these guys are smart. These designers are freaking smart. I'm telling you, there must have been a way to have done this, even if they had copied them, if they're like counterparts and everything. There must have been a way to have done this where it would not have suffered so much, this much in the robot mode and this much in the plane mode, because they're going to be copying it anyway and repainting it. So why not spend the extra money in terms of design? But anyway, so here's a toss-off. So I think I once did a review where I reviewed something in one mode and another one in a different mode and different values. So I guess that's what I'll do with this one. let's look at the price first. Well, I guess it doesn't really matter. It's $25 for each one, right? So because of how how reversed their aesthetic is when it comes to plane and robot mode, which it ends up being the same. So value wise, I'm pretty happy with what I've gotten. So we'll start off with 12 because I am pretty happy with that one. But we'll take off 1 point. Like, I'm happy with the plane mode at 12, right? But the robot mode with the big feet and the wings and the fact that it doesn't have the mini jet in the back is a 10. So I'm gonna compromise with this one as an 11. And I would say the same thing with Skydive, but in reverse. I would say the robot mode was 12, and then the plane mode would be, I guess I would say 11. Yeah, I would put this at 11. So this would actually be at 11 and a half, while this would be at 11. So this guy's, because as I said before, if I were to display these, it would be primarily as the combiner, and then the robot second, and then the plane as a third. So having his design salvaged at the robot mode gives him a slight bump when it comes to value between the two. But that's basically it for my review of Skydive and Fireflight from Age of Prime's Transformers. Please stay tuned as I do a review comparison of the combiners that we've gotten so far, which will be Menasor, Superion, and Devastator. Alright, thank you for watching. I'll see you guys on my next review. Bye.